Hello, welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and last weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel released some new footage to Brave New World, some really fun stuff. Giancarlo Esposito confirms he's playing the leader of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder. President Ross declares that Adamantium was found in Tiamat, and Thunderbolt Ross asks Sam Wilson to make a new team of the Avengers, which he questions following the Sokovia Accords that Thunderbolt Ross pushed for. So much information and so many lingering questions. Who is Sidewinder? Who would most likely be on Sam Wilson's Avengers team? And why does Thunderbolt Ross turn into the Red Hulk in the first place? I'll be going through the new footage we got at San Diego Comic-Con and piece more of the future of the MCU to prepare us for doom. But first, before we get into it, make sure to check out the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch. Right now, we got the red hand around Cap's shield to commemorate Brave New World, which we're talking about today. We got some Deadpool merch. That movie is #1 in the world. So get the Deadpool merch and then go see the movie for the 4th time like me. Go to nerdride.shop. It's the best way to support the channel and support all the work we do here, breaking down all this stuff for you every week. Let's get into it. In the new San Diego Comic-Con Brave New World footage, it begins with Thunderbolt Ross holding this event. A lot of the new San Diego Comic-Con footage is extensions, just longer scenes that we've seen in the official teaser trailer already, like this scene right here. Thunderbolt Ross has taken everyone to the White House and he preps everyone, telling them, when the celestial mass emerged in the Indian Ocean, we did what we do often, we squabbled over it. Countries rushed in to claim it as their own, setting up research facilities. We haven't seen anyone physically interfere with Tiamat yet, and as soon as Marvel introduced Tiamat, it was the last thing they cared to reintroduce back into the MCU. However, it's not surprising everyone in the MCU wanted their share of the dead celestials, since it's in international waters and under no country's jurisdiction. As soon as Ironheart created a machine that could siphon the bottom of the ocean looking for vibranium, we were on top of it. So this, I assume, is everyone's new obtainable version of vibranium. Thunderbolt Ross goes on to say, this new element they found inside Tiamat belongs to all of us, or so he thinks. So they found and extracted adamantium from Tiamat, and we all know why this is a huge deal for us as fans. As soon as Feige said we were going to start maneuvering through the mutant saga in the MCU, we immediately got word that Wolverine's bones exist as loose materials inside the celestial Tiamat. This is also important because of how dangerous it is. We saw how every country reacted to vibranium once T'Challa made it known to the world. Luckily, Namor and Wakanda monitored their precious resources, but in the wrong hands, it's really dangerous. And we can see from all these shots in the trailer of Cap's shield, it's going to be important to compare vibranium to adamantium. Wilson helped with the extraction, or at least keeping the adamantium safe in transport. Then we get a simple one-on-one conversation with Ross and Wilson. We saw this scene in the teaser trailer as well, but a longer one was released to us at San Diego Comic-Con. Ross asked Wilson to rebuild the Avengers, which is insane. After a very long time of not knowing who the new Avengers would be and just guessing, we're getting more insight finally. We're headed to Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War, so we definitely need a team. Wilson is skeptical when asked to rebuild a new Avengers team, saying, when you passed the Sokovia Accord, you tore the Avengers apart. Why the change of heart? Thunderbolt Ross responds, I represent all Americans now. I wouldn't even be here without the Avengers. The country needs this. As some remember, the Sokovia Accords made it so the Avengers would no longer operate privately. They had to operate with the approval from the United Nations, so no more people were damaged in the superhero saving the day crossfire. This was introduced and hashed out in Civil War, and why Sam remembers it tore the Avengers apart. However, by 2025, the Sokovia Accords had been repealed. Thunderbolt Ross needs a new Avengers team, and I believe he needs a new team to save face, a new group of sacred symbolic heroes to keep America believing they're safe again. What better way than a team led by Sam Wilson, the man who's lived as a true American? So like, imagine the Seven with Homelander, essentially. Every Captain America and Cap wannabe were created and molded by the American dream. They were just propaganda, and I know Steve Rogers was a legend after saving those from the Hydra base, but let's not forget the USO tour that he was on. Then we had US Agent with a heavily decorated military career, returning to his hometown, being interviewed in heavy red, white, and blue decorations, and now we have Sam Wilson, following his public message in Falcon and the Winter Soldier about how we need to do better and not make decisions based on small minorities, how we need to help everyone equally since the blip. This wasn't as pro-American as our fellow Caps had to dance, but this was an important moment that demonstrated that as the times are changing, so are the people in America, and now Captain America should reflect that. It's no longer like a Norman Rockwell illustration. We're surviving. So Sam is a great leader for a government-monitored Avengers team. Thunderbolt Ross also mentions the Avengers saving his life, or rather he wouldn't be here without them. This is a reminder that Thunderbolt Ross was among those who blipped, so he recognizes that he'd still be gone without the Avengers. Then we see Giancarlo Esposito's character, who we now know as the leader of the Serpent Society, Seth Volker, aka Sidewinder. And for weeks, we said it could be anyone. And it's Sidewinder. Who the hell is that? Sidewinder looks like this and is insane looking. In the comics, he's a former college professor, later hired by Roxxon Oil Company. He was tasked to steal a rare mystical artifact called the Serpent Crown. He later formed the Serpent Society, which attracted a lot of snake-themed villains like Slither and Constrictor. This was originally a very old comic run, so of course it brought characters like that. It was reported a while back that Rosa Salazar had joined the cast as Diamondback, another member of the Serpent Society in the comics. However, I think this is still up in the air with the reshoots. Now it seems like Sidewinder is more of a hired hand thief or hardened criminal with great weaponry skills. He seems like an arms dealer or trades who probably is working in Adamantium, as Eric said in his breakdown of the teaser trailer. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Summer's a great time to blow off some steam, but for some of us, improving our mental health needs a little bit more care than your average pool party provides. If you want help getting a handle on your mental health, try BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and less intimidating for a lot of people. First, use our link to go to our site, betterhelp.com/newrockstars. The site will ask you to answer a few questions so BetterHelp can match you up with one of their over 30,000 therapists who they think can help you out the most. The therapist they pick for you will have tons of experience dealing with whatever you're going through. Every single one of their therapists is licensed, has a master's or doctorate degree, and has spent over 3 years and 1,000 hours working with people just like you. You'll be matched to a therapist usually within 48 hours, so you can get started fast. We've been promoting BetterHelp for a while and have heard some amazing feedback from you guys, and we got permission to share this review from one of our viewers who said this. I have had a few therapists over the last couple of years. My therapist was the most open and accommodating therapist I've ever had. He listened when I needed to talk and told me some hard truths when I needed to listen. I couldn't recommend him more. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/newrockstars or choose New Rockstars during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. As for the Serpent Society, this team should sound familiar to some of you because initially Captain America Civil War was Captain America Serpent Society, put as a joke in 2014 by KevinFeige at Marvel Fan Day at the El Capitan Theater. They're normally Captain America villains in the comics, and they were also spoofed as a joke in Invincible because they're very easy to make fun of. And again, I assume here they'll be turning away from the original comic background of these little freaks so they don't come off as the purple cobras from Dodgeball. Then we see some footage we've seen before from the teaser trailer outside where the pink cherry blossoms are and the president is giving a public address. This in the trailer was followed by the soldiers firing upwards at something. But my favorite exciting new footage is seeing Thunderbolt Ross turn into Red Hulk. He's changing behind the presidential podium in front of everyone. And I believe this is just an extension of the scene I just mentioned. This footage feels a little sneaky because as some folks run, some look more worried and concerned like they saw this coming. Throughout the trailer, Ross is always with Ruth Bat Saraf, played by Shira Haas. When Wilson asks to speak privately, Ross responds, she stays. So there's something important she knows that no one else does. I think the leader is the reason for the Hulk serum, but she's the only one in Ross's inner circle who knows he's taking it. This sort of conference event where Isaiah Bradley shoots at the glass and dips out is probably what injures Ross. Let's not forget in Captain America Civil War, Ross mentions that 5 years prior, how during a round of golf, he suffered from a heart attack, which resulted in 13 hours of surgery and a triple bypass. So our man has already been pretty weakened. This is probably what leads Ross to take the Hulk serum, and when Ross mentions,
you may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
It's because up against Isaiah, Sam can't really do anything because he won't take the super soldier serum. So if he won't, Ross will find his own way to protect himself and what he stands for. People have been asking whether or not he's changing at will, changing into the Red Hulk. Personally, I don't think Ross has full control over when he can change. Essentially, I'm arguing that the serum Thunderbolt Ross has taken is probably made directly from Hulk, and Hulk's passed on blood transfusions have a history of creating angry people based on what we've seen so far. She-Hulk was able to stay conscious as Jennifer Walters and didn't have to go through years of self-reflection as Bruce did, and her blood taken by Todd gave him the same non-aggressive, self-aware, self-conscious Hulk transformation, unlike Hulk's transfusion with Abomination. And I'm not addressing Happy Hogan Hulk from What If because it's a different universe, and the writers applied different rules, and we didn't see really what happened with the leader immediately after the 2003 Hulk as well. Then there's some things that were spoken about, but not in the trailer. Feige mentioned this is a return to the grounded aspects of the Winter Soldier. It completely feels like that, a modern-day version of the Winter Soldier. And Tim Blake Nelson mentions that it's been 16 years since we've seen the leader, so they've created a great story for him in Brave New World. And I'm sure there are so many theories as to where he's been this entire time. He's clearly playing a sort of like deep throat character, a sneaky agent for political affairs, but staying out of the public eye. Is this strategy in turning the world in on itself like Zemo did with the Avengers, or is he a hired hand for Ruth, Sam, or Ross? We've also learned from Atlanta Filming on Instagram that Benedict Wong playing Wong will be part of these reshoots. Alex from Cosmic Circus claims that he's in this to build and recruit the Avengers. So there's a chance Sam Wilson will build a new Avengers team. I genuinely thought he'd reject the offer. I still believe the asterisk in Thunderbolts means that they are the backup team, or the team meant for missions that America doesn't want the Avengers getting into, or global affairs between us and enemy countries perhaps, or something more risky. Maybe something we can do under the radar with people not knowing. And Sam Wilson will be tasked to make an Avengers team that'll submit to the president and America and dance when needed while the Thunderbolts do the dirty work. It's like sending that text that's like, yeah, that's risky, send the Avengers, and then you put, sorry, Thunderbolts asterisk. I I know that's a stretch, but I'm still decoding it because Feige won't tell us. Comment below your thoughts on the Brave New World new footage. The new footage made me so excited and scared at the same time. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons and subscribe to all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait for Brave New World. And like Harrison Ford says,
I want me some of that.